The file path is 47 characters long. C: :users :your name :appdata :local core AI platform.00 UKP and then a folder with a random ID /UK.db. Any program running on your computer can read it. A game, a Discord bot, a PDF that you opened, a cursor on someone else's machine in Bucharest if they have remote access. Inside the file is a SQLite database. Inside the database is a screenshot of every moment of your computing life. Banking, chat, drafts, medical records, passwords visible on screen, a month of you indexed and searchable. The file is not encrypted. It is not even hidden. Until May 2024, almost no one outside Microsoft knew the file existed. And the company that put it there, the company that shipped it on by default onto brand new laptops inside an AI feature marketed as the future of computing, is the company that 22 years earlier wrote the most famous memo in cybersecurity history, a memo titled Trustworthy Computing. This is the story of how Microsoft wrote a keylogger and called it a feature. May 20th, 2024. Build Conference, Seattle, Satya Nadella. Microsoft CEO steps under the lights. Behind him, a single word appears on the screen. Recall. He calls it the defining feature of a new class of computers. Copilot plus PCs. The first laptops designed from the silicon up for artificial intelligence. The pitch is elegant. Imagine never losing anything again. That chart Raj showed you in a meeting 3 weeks ago, the blue dress from a tab you closed yesterday, the paragraph of code you wrote Tuesday morning, before lunch, before you tore it out and started over. All of it searchable. All of it in plain English. You just type what you remember, and the computer finds it. How does it work? Every 5 seconds, the computer takes a screenshot of your screen. The image goes into an on-device AI model. The AI reads the text, labels the objects, builds a searchable index, stores the whole thing locally, on your laptop, for you and only you. The ship date is June 18th, less than 30 days away. The message is clear. This is the future of Windows. Buy the new hardware. Enable the feature. Never lose a thought again. And if you are watching Build 2024, you feel it. The Apple Vision Pro is floundering. ChatGPT is scaring investors. Microsoft has the mandate. Microsoft has the AI. Microsoft has the stage. Nobody in that auditorium is asking where the screenshots get stored. Kevin Beaumont is not a journalist. He is not on Microsoft's payroll. He runs cybersecurity for a UK hospital trust, which means his day job is keeping medical records safe from ransomware gangs. 15 years earlier, he had worked at Microsoft. Senior Threat Intelligence. He knew how Microsoft shipped features. He knew how their security review process was supposed to work. He also knew from the inside what it looked like when that process got skipped. So when Recall was announced, and when the press releases said screenshots would be stored securely on device, but didn't say how Beaumont did something no journalist did. He bought the laptop, a Copilot plus PC, £1,200. His own money, he installed Windows 11, he enabled Recall. He let it run for a day, capturing everything he did. Email, browsing, a Signal conversation with his wife. Then he opened File Explorer, and he started looking for the database. It took him less than 20 minutes to find it. No protections, no encryption, no elevation required. Kevin Beaumont logged in as a normal user, no admin rights, no special software, opens a Seawild browser. He points it at the Recall database. It opens, Every screenshot is there. Every piece of OCR text is there. Banking details, chat messages, the draft of an email to his wife, his browsing history, word for word. Because Recall had read every tab. He does not need to break anything. He does not need to escalate privileges. He does not need a 0 day. The database is sitting there in a known location, in a known format with no lock on the door. He posts a screenshot to his Medium page. He calls it, in 3 paragraphs in direct plain English, a disaster. The word he uses is info stealer, which is what the cybercrime world calls a category of malware designed to extract data from a compromised computer. Info stealers typically grab saved passwords, session cookies, maybe browser history. They are sold on Russian forums for $20 a copy. Kevin Beaumont is saying publicly that Microsoft has shipped built into the operating system, enabled by default on every new laptop, the world's most effective info stealer target. And the operating system's own antivirus cannot detect it, because the database is supposed to be there. 48 hours later, the story is on the front page of CNN, Ars Technica, Wired, and the BBC. Microsoft has 11 days until launch. While Beaumont is writing the Medium post, another researcher is writing code. Alexander Haganah, a Swiss security consultant, builds a tool in a weekend. He calls it TotalRecall after the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He publishes it on GitHub on June 3rd. It is 140 lines of Python. Run it on a compromised Windows machine, and it finds the recall database automatically. It parses the SQLite. It dumps every screenshot. It exports the OCR text as a searchable file. It does all of this in under 1 second. The tool does not exploit anything. It just uses the operating system's own APIs, exactly as Microsoft designed them, to read a file that Microsoft left unlocked. This is the moment the story detonates. Because now, for the first time, you do not need to understand databases or cybersecurity to see the problem. You just watch the GitHub README video. A normal-looking Windows desktop, one command in a terminal, and everything the user has done for the past month pours out of the screen in a grid of thumbnails. The video gets millions of views in 48 hours. Microsoft's security team, the team that, in 2002, received Bill Gates's famous Trustworthy Computing memo and spent 2 decades rebuilding the company around security-first development, is suddenly watching their own operating system get cataloged, publicly, by a weekend project. June 7, 2024. Pavan Davuluri, corporate vice president of Windows, publishes a blog post. Recall will not ship to the public on June 18th. It will ship only to Windows insiders, volunteer testers. The feature will be off by default. It will require Windows Hello biometric authentication, your face or your fingerprint, to unlock the database. The database itself will be encrypted. 11 days before launch. The flagship feature of Microsoft's biggest hardware push in a decade has been pulled. Internally, sources will later tell reporters. The security review that should have caught this had been downgraded. The launch date was non-negotiable. The engineers who flagged the plaintext storage had been told that encryption would slow down queries. Opt-in would tank adoption numbers. Microsoft had to win the AI PC narrative against Apple, against Google, against OpenAI. And so a feature that should never have shipped without encryption was scheduled to ship without encryption. Until Kevin Beaumont bought a laptop. Until Alexander Haganah wrote 140 lines of Python. There is a moment. In any large engineering organization, when a decision that could not be stopped, because of politics, because of timing, because of ego, is suddenly, abruptly stopped. That moment almost never. For the next year, Recall enters a quiet phase. October 2024, delayed. December, delayed again. March 2025, still in insider preview only. Behind the scenes, the feature is being rebuilt. Not patched, rebuilt. Screenshots no longer sit in a SQLite database. They live inside a virtualization-based security enclave, a memory region that even administrators cannot read without biometric authentication. The encryption key is derived from your face or fingerprint, protected by the trusted platform module chip on your laptop's motherboard. A sensitive content filter attempts, imperfectly, to avoid screenshotting password managers and banking sites. Microsoft also creates internally a trustworthy AI office, a merged team combining security review, privacy review, and AI ethics review. The explicit mandate: what happened with Recall will not happen again. In beta April 2025, Recall finally ships. Opt-in, encrypted. Locked behind Windows Hello. Enterprise IT administrators in surveys continue to disable it. Public trust, even after the fix, is thin. The feature works. The architecture is actually good now. The engineering that should have shipped the first time, shipped the second time. And almost a year of Microsoft's AI momentum. The thing the Copilot plus PC launch was designed to create was quietly spent. Here is what I keep returning to. Recall was not a bug. The plaintext database was not an oversight. It was a deliberate design decision, made to maximize retrieval speed. The absence of encryption was not a missed line of code. It was on someone's whiteboard, under the heading Future Work, and never moved. The security review that should have killed this feature in its first architecture meeting either did not happen or happened and was overruled. Microsoft, the company that in 2002 had Bill Gates himself send an all-hands memo reshaping the entire company around security-first development, shipped a feature in 2024 that would have failed a 2003 internal audit. The lesson is not that Microsoft is careless. The lesson is that AI competitive pressure in 2024 was strong enough to override the deepest security culture in the technology industry. If it can happen at Microsoft, it is happening everywhere else. At Apple, at Google, at Amazon, at every startup racing to ship on-device AI. Recall is a preview, not of what Microsoft will do next, of what the next 5 years will look like across the industry. When an AI feature demos well, and the launch date is non-negotiable, and the encryption might slow down the search index, somebody on the team is going to say, "Let's ship it unencrypted for the demo. We'll fix it later." And somebody on that team's leadership chain is going to say, "Fine, ship it. We'll fix it later." Kevin Beaumont bought a laptop. Alexander Haganah wrote a weekend tool. The rest of the industry does not have a Kevin Beaumont watching it. The trustworthy computing memo is from 2002. Bill Gates wrote it after a catastrophic year of Windows security vulnerabilities. The memo reshaped Microsoft. It reshaped the industry. It is the reason modern Windows is, by and large, not a ransomware buffet. And yet, 22 years later, the same company, the same culture, shipped Recall. Here is the thing about engineering cultures. They do not stay the same. They respond to pressure. They respond to leadership. They respond to what the company is measured on. When you measure a company on security incidents, you get trustworthy computing. When you measure it on AI feature velocity, you get Recall. Kevin Beaumont still buys laptops. Alexander Haganah still writes code on weekends. The trustworthy AI office at Microsoft is hiring. A year from now, or 2, there will be another feature. In another company, or in the same one, and somebody somewhere will have to decide whether to ship it with the encryption key in plaintext, because the demo needs to be fast. The database has to live somewhere. The next story is not about a screenshot. It is about an email. A single, boring, automated email that arrived in the inbox of a maintainer of a popular NPM package. The maintainer did not open it carefully. He clicked the link. He entered his password on what looked like GitHub, and the following Monday, 2.6 billion package downloads, code running inside every major tech company on Earth, began quietly executing malware that phoned home, hunted for credentials, and rewrote its own code to spread to the next maintainer in the chain. The attackers called the worm Shai-Hulud, like the sandworms in Dune, and by the time anyone saw it, it had already been eating the supply chain for a week.